Video opens with a series of cinematic, high-contrast shots of explosions rocking a modern city skyline at night. The camera shakes slightly with each impact. Muted sounds of sirens and distant blasts are heard. Text overlay. Coordina TED Strike. The scene cuts to a sleek, dark-themed digital map. Red circles appear simultaneously over several key locations: an international airport, a major port, and a power grid hub. Animated lines trace the trajectories of incoming projectiles. The camera slowly zooms in on one of the impact zones, the image becoming a grainy, satellite-like view of the aftermath. Transitions are slow fades to black between shots. These are not random acts of violence. This was a meticulously planned operation, executed with chilling precision. In the early hours of dawn, a wave of sophisticated long-range missiles and drone swarms overwhelmed air defenses, striking at the economic and logistical heart of the nation. The targets were not just military. They were strategic infrastructure, designed to cripple the country's ability to function and respond. The immediate aftermath was chaos, but the long-term implications pointed to a calculated message, one that has been decades in the making. This single devastating event threatens to unravel a fragile peace and plunge an entire region into a conflict with unpredictable global consequences. The screen flickers and transitions to grainy, archival-style footage in black and white, then to faded color film from the 70s and 80s. We see images of old border disputes, past military parades, and tense diplomatic handshakes between former leaders. To understand today's strike, we must look back through the pages of a bitter history. The rivalry between these two nations is etched into the very fabric of their identities, born from the ashes of old empires and fueled by decades of political, economic, and ideological clashes. A contested border, drawn by foreign powers a century ago, has been a festering wound, leading to skirmishes and proxy wars that have shaped generations. Global power shifts, particularly the end of the Cold War and the subsequent realignment of international alliances, left a power vacuum in the region. This void was filled with suspicion and an escalating arms race, turning a local dispute into a flashpoint for international security, where old grievances were never forgotten, only waiting for the right moment to reignite. The scene abruptly cuts back to modern high-definition footage. We see missile silos opening and fighter jets taking off from an aircraft carrier at dusk. The roar of the engines is powerful. Text overlay. Retaliation. The video shows night vision footage of missiles striking military installations and what appear to be government buildings in another city. Bright flashes illuminate the sky, followed by secondary explosions. We see quick cuts of emergency services rushing through rubble-strewn streets, firefighters battling massive blazes, and overwhelmed medical teams treating the wounded in makeshift triage centers. The pace is faster, more chaotic than the opening sequence. Within hours, the response came. Vowing to exact a heavy price, the targeted nation unleashed its own formidable arsenal. The retaliatory strikes were swift and furious, aimed at the command and control centers and military bases believed to have orchestrated the initial attack. The cycle of violence escalated dramatically, transforming a single strike into a reciprocal barrage of firepower. Cities that were bustling centers of commerce just days before became front lines in an undeclared war. The international community watched in horror as the conflict spiraled, each new attack deepening the crisis and making a diplomatic off-ramp increasingly difficult to find. The initial aggressor had drawn first blood, but the retaliation ensured that the entire region would bleed. The visual style shifts again to a montage of polished official scenes. World leaders are shown in urgent, closed-door meetings at the UN Security Council. We see quick cuts of concerned faces during video conferences. Text overlay, region on the brink. The montage continues with visuals representing the global economic fallout. Stock market tickers flash red, showing steep declines. Oil rigs are silhouetted against a blood-red sunset, and a massive container ship sits idle in a port, symbolizing disrupted global trade. The music becomes tense and foreboding. The shockwaves of the conflict have spread far beyond the immediate blast radius. An emergency session of the UN Security Council was convened, with diplomats scrambling to de-escalate a situation that many fear could ignite a wider regional war. The world's economic stability hangs in the balance as the conflict threatens critical shipping lanes and energy supplies. Oil prices have surged on fears of disruption, sending tremors through global markets and raising the specter of a new energy crisis. Alliances are being tested, with world powers issuing stark warnings and positioning their own military assets in a dangerous geopolitical chess game. The region is a tinderbox and the world holds its breath, hoping diplomacy can extinguish the flames before they consume everyone. The loud, tense music fades, replaced by a somber, emotional piano score. The visuals shift to intimate, human-focused shots. A young child, face smudged with dust, stares blankly into the camera while clutching a stuffed animal. An elderly woman weeps silently amidst the ruins of her home. A family huddles together in a crowded, dimly lit bomb shelter, their faces etched with fear and exhaustion. Beyond the maps, the strategies, and the global power plays lies the undeniable human cost. For millions of ordinary people, life has been irrevocably shattered. Homes have been turned to rubble. Families have been torn apart. And the simple security of daily life has been replaced by the constant, terrifying threat of the next siren, the next explosion. These are the forgotten casualties in the calculus of war, their stories lost in the headlines of military escalation. The final shot holds on the ambiguous image of a single flickering candle in a darkened room, a lone symbol of hope against a backdrop of uncertainty. The flame wavers as if in a breeze threatening to go out. Text overlay: peace or conflict?